Welcome back to the Impaulsive Postcast, the most exciting, impulsive after show on the internet. We don't have any sketches, no jokes this week. We're going to go right into them. I'm trying to get my notes.
Oh, fuck. Dude, you okay?
That was a joke. It was a pratfall. That was actually the sketch for the intro of this episode. It was just some classic slapstick comedy.
Let's
a little
fucking go.
Pratfall. Sorry, guys. We couldn't think of any good jokes. So I just did I thought slapstick, that's universal comedy. And what better thing to compliment Logan Paul, who's trying to be the biggest entertainer in the universe, than something as universal as slapstick?
What better way to usher in this postcast of episodes from the previous week? It's been a juicy one. And
we should introduce ourselves.
It started out with a lot of seriousness, and we're bringing a lot of seriousness here. I am Zach. I am one half of the Postcast. I'm here with my brother, Ryan.
That's right. We are Paulologists. We study the Paul brothers, and we are also brothers, which is sort of, I think, going forward in the field of Paulology, I think we're going to see a lot more brother teams, because I think it's an advantage that we have over the competition, that if you're not doing it, you're going to be left in the dust in this field.
Right. Exactly.
Another thing I wanted to say this week is that we are also physical embodiments of the Native American trickster spirits, Iktomi the spider and Coyote. And that also gives us a sort of insight into pranks and tricksterism.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you okay? Your video dropped out.
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
So this week was, your video is still gone. Are you going to come back?
Sorry.
Do you know what's the matter, or something going on, or? Okay, folks, if you're listening at home, I'm just having a little bit of a technical difficulty. I can't see Zach right now. The important thing for this show is for us to be able to, converse and see each other's eye movements, eyebrow movements, facial expressions. We're trying to.
I'm fucking working. I'm always on the goddamn clock. So
I thought it was your day off today.
Always on the grind. No, it's not my day off. I'm fucking working right now.
So
let's talk about the first episode. Obviously, we kind of had a prediction last episode.
Oh yeah. So last week, if you're a follower of the show, you know that there wasn't any episodes last week, and so we did an episode where we just predicted what was going to be talked about on Monday's episode, which was the apology for being a little bit insensitive in saying that he was going to go gay for a month, man only march, and only date men for a month, going gay. And the LGBTQ community came out and said, "Logan, you're insensitive. You know being gay isn't a choice. You can't just go gay."
No.
And he said that's not what he meant. Poor choice of words. He didn't think that was the case. It was just a goof. And this whole episode was basically like, why is that bad? And apology / like, why is this such a touchy subject? Why can't he joke about it? Why, etc.
Right.
And he brought on Monday Josh Seafried, which I forget what his exact, he was in the military, and he does a lot of stuff with trying to get people who are LGBTQ in the military rights and a voice, because the military is infamously, closed-minded.
They've just suppressed anything other than straight culture.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was kind of just like an advocate for it. He started like some kind of foundation or group that pretty much gave a outlet for LGBTQ individuals to connect with each other in the military, so they just basically like they could get together and be like, hey, like we're in a safe space and whatever.
Yeah. So how do you think the apology ep went? We chatted about this a little bit yesterday, and I think our general consensus was that he was a little defensive, which wasn't a good look. Or he was really defensive, I guess.
I think that he was just he was very defensive because he said that he was such a huge proponent of the LGBT community and he like loves gay people and like so he was kind of just like, what the fuck, why is everyone coming after me? Like, I have nothing against like the gay community. And so he was just he was really angry and you could tell he was very red and very defensive and very, I mean, as he should have. I mean, I think he was just like embarrassed. And the first half of that podcast was very tense. IMO. And
it was so tense you'd think they were camping.
Yeah.
Like tense. I'm saying
it was the tent was, let's just say
pitched.
Let's just say the fly was flapping in the wind a bit. He was very careful on what his words he used, which, I mean, you have to be, too.
Yeah, and also to foreshadow the next two episodes, I'd say that this incident has changed the tone of the whole show. Like this week's 3 episodes were kind of different, and I feel like we're feeling the echoes of him, of the backlash, and now Logan is like a little bit more on edge.
He definitely seemed more reserved and a bit defeated in a way.
Yeah, just
a bit lethargic, if you will.
Yeah, just to go ahead to Friday's episode. We'll come back to this, but like he put up a sign in his studio above the Impaulsive logo. It's like one of those handmade looking things that like all like moms and grandmas would have at their house that says
it's
like life
burnt,
is a
it's
beach.
Like burnt wood.
Yeah, it's like if your mom has like those decorations like next to the family pictures where it's like life's about family or like the heart of life is good, whatever. But it's just this sign that says life is a dry hand job. Yeah. And so that's kind of like him saying like life fucking sucks, but we're going to keep going. What did you think about the life is a dry hand job
I did
philosophy?
Mention it.
That's right. You don't watch the show as much. You listen to it, right?
No.
So you didn't see it?
No, I did. I watched all this week.
Oh.
I didn't really think much of it. I just thought I didn't even put any context to it or connect anything. I was kind of just thought they thought it was funny, and it was kind of just like a life's a bitch, kind of like a play on that, and it was kind of just like I really didn't connect what was going on, which I guess I just didn't think about it. I just thought like they thought it was funny, and they are kind of like putting random things from guests on the set, so I thought that was maybe they're just trying to put random things in the set that they can just like cut to, which is a good idea, I think. But I didn't think much of it.
I thought it was sort of a reaction to everything.
I mean, I think it for sure is. I just didn't connect that. But if it's not, then that's even more strange, probably.
So, do you feel like you did a good job with the apology?
No.
What do you think? What do you think you could have done differently?
I don't even know what people are saying. I don't know what people are saying, but he just didn't. he seemed just angry and not. He didn't really seem apologetic and I don't think that he thought that he did anything wrong, and I still don't think that he does.
Yeah.
I think that he just was dwelling on the fact that the terminology and like the phrase that he used was incorrect, and not that anything, which I do understand, and initially we agreed with that we were kind of on Logan's side as saying like, okay, it was just a dumb joke, whatever, but the way that he just didn't really come off very empathetic.
Yeah.
He came off just very angry and like, what the fuck? Like, why is everyone fucking picking on me?
Yeah. I would say, like, I still am on the side of, like, he said at one point, like, why can I not be a person whose sexuality is fluid? You would never expect someone like Logan Paul to be a person who says, like, you know how, like, people say, well, for a while I was a lesbian, and then I was straight for a while, but now, like, lately I've been back into chicks. And when you hear that from some people, it's like, well, yeah, that's pretty progressive, but, you know, it's 2019. That's how people are. But someone who is like a classic, traditional masculine D-bag like Logan Paul, when he makes a remark about gender fluidity or sexual fluidity, you assume it's a joke and not the reality. And he did say it was a joke, so it is kind of weird. It was like a weird gray area.
I mean, it was a bit, and Mike was in on it too. But obviously Mike's not going to get any feedback because nobody really gives a fuck about Mike.
It is interesting that if you look at the original clip right before he made the joke, when they were talking about February, how they were going to go hard in February, and then March is, and then Mike says, well, why don't you, I don't want to say this, why don't you say it, Logan, what March is? And then Logan is like, okay, so March is male only, Mark, we're going to go gay. Mm-hmm. So, like, Mike knew that I think Mike handed it off to Logan because he knew it was going to be a touchy goof.
I mean, I don't think that. I think that he was just teeing up Logan because Logan it's his podcast, and I don't think it was intentional. I really don't, because I mean, Mike's obviously on Logan's side. I think they were just doing a bit, and which they like to do, which is probably going to not happen as much anymore.
Yeah. I guess, going back to it, it's just like the problem is the idea of being gay is still a bit of a punchline to people.
True.
Like, that is the big problem.
I mean, here's the question: when will it not be?
I know. You know, like, I was watching this show on Netflix that's like these old British dudes called The Grand Tour, and they used to be on, I forget what their other show was called, but it's a really big show that a bunch of people love, and it's about these dudes, three old British dudes who drive cars around different countries. There's like car guys.
Yeah.
And I just saw their Netflix special, which just came on, and they were making gay jokes the whole time. One of them was like, oh, you got this Jeep, that's like top 10 LGBT cars. And then the whole like 2-hour special, they just kept making jokes about him driving around in the gay car, and they like queued up his radio to like be playing It's Raining Men at one point. And the joke is that, yeah, you're gay. It's like basically like it's a diss. And it does suck because, like, yeah, like how you can't make jokes about it, because even if you know that you're making fun of someone who's insensitive about gay people, like the idea is like, well, the whole joke is that I am pretending to be someone who's stupid enough and insensitive enough to say something like that. Like, the joke is that I'm stupid. Exactly. But the problem is that there's an audience out there that will read it as, no, you're not being stupid. You're just saying the truth, which is, it's funny to be gay, or it's like wrong to be gay, and so it's funny if you are. It's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have to disclose the information that I have for sure made this similar, basically making fun of people that don't understand like someone that like don't understand like someone that's not straight. Like I've made that joke just, like I'm like a dumb old southern person that's, a dumb old fucking Baptist, that's just like, oh, you're going to hell. Like I've made that joke
Yeah.
before. And and like, but that said, I also made more malicious like jokes about gay people like when I was like a kid.
Yeah.
So
That was the 90s.
right.
Early 2000s.
And I guess that's where everyone's coming at because his audience are these kids that are growing up in like a really weird relapsed society thanks to the fucking president.
Yeah.
Speaking of the president, weird that they brought on the Friday's episode the person that Mike said was Donald Trump. But I've also heard Mike kind of bash Donald Trump, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, in his defense, you don't go a day without hearing that president's name. So it is probably
before he said, whenever the magician was like, think of a popular figure, I was thinking Mike was going to say Donald Trump, and then he said it.
Yeah. Who knows how cute in on like politics he is? He could have been listening to like an interview, and also with like the government shutdown, with it being there with all that shit happening. Like, I mean, he could have just been reading a headline, and that's why it was in his head. But
what do you think that Logan should actually do for March? Because I think he should actually set it up like the way, because they said that Conan did that good video, did a good job of making a video about experimenting with being gay. And I watched the video, and before Conan did this thing where he went on Grindr, he said, I believe I'm straight, but I've had some times in my life where I'm like, I don't know. And so that premise of like, I'm not 100% about my sexuality, I'm going to explore it. Do you think Logan will be bold enough to really do a basically like a experimentation, gender fluidity, or sexuality fluidity March? Well, that's the month that he made the joke about. So what should he really do in March?
I thought you were talking about like a protest. When you say March, I'm like,
no.
Signs.
Yeah, no. Like,
no,
do you think he has an opportunity to like really actually like make better on his goof by doing something in March?
I think that he will, and I think they don't even know what that is yet. But I think that they are. I don't know though, because then you're just prolonging that and extending his like mistake, which he probably does not want to do. So I don't think they're gonna do anything. But I mean, said, what is he gonna do? Donate money to like a couple like LGBT groups? Like I don't know. Like that doesn't make it better.
Like I
and
really
also,
do
he
think
doesn't want to admit that he's wrong. I think that's the main thing.
Well, yeah. That's what the thing that kept bugging me was like the guy kept being like, "Well, were you going to go like try to be gay? Like, were you thinking about it?" And he kept saying, "Why does it matter if I was or not? I could have been. I could have been." And it's like, nah, sorry, Logan. You gotta actually. I think Logan he should have doubled down and be like, "Yeah, I actually am. Get ready."
Yeah,
I think that would be the best thing. He's
not going to experiment, so I think that's why he's not going to say.
Yeah, but he already fucked up. Just suck a dick for a month, Logan. If you want to be the biggest entertainer in the universe, you're gonna have to suck one wiener. Then the sex tape leaks, and we find out it was real.
He's like, as our big gay leader, we need you to take one for the team. go down to the import tax office and suck his dick.
Yeah, I think
So
that
he
we're in
went
that.
home, he took a shower, and he drove over there ready to suck this dick. Little Fire
Folks.
Festival reference there for you guys.
The other thing is like he's like, why is everybody so mad at me? And basically he's like, we're listening to your comments, we'll address anything, but it's like how would someone complain how would someone be offended by what he said and be loud enough to get the attention for him to address it if it wasn't this backlash? You know what I mean? Like he's at one hand mad at the backlash, but on the other hand he's like, we want the feedback. And like I feel like if the feedback weren't super loud and offended, then he would never have addressed this. So on the one hand, he wanted to hear this feedback about this. He just didn't want it so mean. But if it wasn't this level of anger and stuff, how would these things be brought to his attention? Like what's the official way of getting his attention on something that offends you or whatever, you know?
I know, yeah. You wonder if he would have mentioned anything if they would have just been a bunch of comments that said, like, dude, that's not okay, that's not okay. And if it wasn't like a huge media blowout.
Exactly.
I think they still would have addressed it, but I mean, it would have just been more of so brushed under.
I don't think they would have. Maybe if there were a lot of comments. Maybe. But yeah, that was one thing I was thinking. It's like, yeah, I understand why you're mad at how angry everyone is, but you wouldn't have said anything if there wasn't this anger.
I think it's just so much goes back to like him just like it's the same shit, and it's like people were waiting for this to happen. Yeah, and he kind of knew that, but that's the danger of having a podcast, and that's why manager Jeff didn't want him to have the podcast.
He said,
"Well, is his manager Jeff?
Jeff,
yeah. Is that Jake's?
Oh. No, it's Jeff. He said, attack me, and I'll address anything that will help move the world forward." And
he has to say that. He's just trying to be progressive.
Yeah, it's just like, what's the way that you can attack him, get his attention, and he won't be mad at the attack?
He's always going to be mad at the attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. He's just like, that's his like that's his personality. He's like competitive. He's an alpha.
Yeah. That's why I'll never suck that dick.
No.
But I think you should. Logan, if you're watching this, that's probably the best thing you could do. Because, like, I think that Logan probably has a lot of younger fans that are a little bit homophobic, you know, like, I think...
I'm sure he's got a bunch of fucking fans that are, like, young kids in the closet, too. Yeah.
And so, like, Logan, if you really want to do something good for people, destigmatize the idea of questioning your sexuality and experimentation and do it yourself. As a super alpha, manly man, right. For other kids who feel that way, to see you do that would be a very strong and powerful story. You know?
Okay, well, here's the question to you.
Yeah.
Would you suck the dick
if I were in Logan's position?
Yeah.
100%. That's why I'm suggesting it. I know what the good move is.
I wouldn't. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. I couldn't. I don't know.
I say it now, but if I was confronted with it, you know, that's what I did.
You would be subject to the situation presenting itself, but what happened? I mean, can you just maybe, what if he were to accept a dry hand job? Would that be okay from a man?
Is that enough for... Yeah, I think that's enough.
I think it might be, as long as he finishes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's the best thing you could do.
What we're trying to get at is, Logan, let us on the podcast.
We are brand doctors. We will clean up your brand like a dentist. We'll get out the fluoride. we'll get out the hook, the metal hook, and we'll scratch off all those haters.
That's right. And we will find someone to give you a dry hand job. I don't want to take that responsibility myself, but if I have to, I will.
So, any other closing remarks about that episode? I shouldn't think about anything else. I was thinking.
No, but are we still going gay in March? Or
okay, guys. Now that was a joke. We don't think being gay is a choice.
Let's move on to the Nelk boys,
the Jesse and Kyle from Canada, the prank channel from Canada.
I don't know. What was your overall feeling about this episode?
I liked the Nelk boys.
So did I. They just seemed chill, and they seemed like they're just really just out for a good laugh and a good time.
Yeah.
And they know
boys.
What?
Oh no, I was just saying hey boys like they say it. Hey boys. What's going on, boys? Pepperonis. And they call Coronas Ronies or
Ronas. Fucking slamming diggers. I love all their fucking lingo. It's funny.
So you hadn't heard of the Nelk boys till now, had you?
No, I have.
You have? I didn't.
I think I don't know exactly who told me. I feel like our brother Kyle's friend Jimmy told me.
Oh yeah, Jimmy's in the prank world. He loves pranks.
Yeah, and I've actually saw a while back the Coke prank that they did.
Don't know what you're talking about.
They talked about it. They basically were in Venice. They had a fucking car, and they were asking people if they wanted Coke, and the people would like say like, "Oh, what? Like you want do you want Coke?" And they're like, "Yeah, all right." And then they just hand them like a can of like Coca-Cola. And then they did it. A police officer came up to them, and they asked the police officer if they wanted Coke, and they said, "Yeah, we got a whole bunch of Coke in the trunk. Open it up."
Oh, actually, I have seen that. And they were like freaking out and arresting all of them before even checking the trunk.
Yeah.
I do remember that. That was a really good prank. Now that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Wow, Nelk boys are good.
Yeah. That was like their one that blew them up, I think. They said that was like their first biggest kind of viral video.
So, we've talked about this before. We think YouTube or pranks are pure YouTube. Right. We think that is the heart of YouTube, which is what?
Which is a shame because they were talking about how all their shit just gets demonetized.
Yeah. They also mentioned how they're the only real prank channel, like that most prank channels are staged, like the people they're pranking on are actors, and that is true, which fucking sucks. So I mean, like that they have a devotion to reality. If it is true, if they really have never used actors, then props to them for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think they're fake?
I don't really have so much to say about them. Like they just seem like they're just cool. They're like seem very nice and like pretty funny. And I don't know. Apparently they're moving into the fucking Clout House, which is kind of crazy.
Interesting. The phase crew. And
they're both.
Sorry.
They talked about being locked up, aka in a relationship, which I thought was funny. And something different about this episode was Dwarf Mamba was on instead of Spencer.
Oh yeah. I wanted to say Dwarf Mamba, and they were talking about how he's really mean.
Dwarf Mamba.
That's right. Like Mike seemed like
Mike
he was like
he's a bully. He's
a really big bully, and that sounds true.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Logan said he still can't poop in front of girls. That was just something I noted. One thing that happened, they were talking about how in Columbus, Ohio, the Nelk boys they did that prank where they went into like a Barnes and Noble and covered in blood and said like, do you have any books about how to cut up a body?
Like dismember a body or something.
And then the police, they arrested him for a day. in Columbus, and Logan mentioned how that's those Ohio police. They have nothing else to do. They'll arrest you for anything, etc. And I just wanted to come to back up Logan on that fact. That is true. I mean, I haven't been everywhere in the country, but I haven't experienced anywhere else like Ohio when it comes to how douchey the policemen are.
I mean, they were in Columbus. They were on the Ohio State campus, and like Ohio State's got money, and so like they definitely patrol the fuck. And I think they should too, because there's a lot of students that go there. There's like 30,000. I might not even be right, but there's a lot of students. So like they do patrol the fuck out of that, and like that is a risk if some fucking murder is, it's like a school campus pretty much. So it makes sense.
But I will say, just as backup Logan, the policemen are douche bags.
Right. I mean, yeah. That's for sure.
I got arrested when I was a teenager. I got in trouble by the police a lot, and for doing very little because they don't have anything else to do. Because there is a lot of crime actually in Columbus though, around the campus.
Yeah, there is
a decent amount.
There's some bad areas of Columbus too, but
yeah, I think that in general, I would say that thing you were saying about being locked up or cuffed, being in a relationship, that both the Nelk boys were cuffed, locked up. I'd say in general, I've got to shame them for their language around and making kills is having sex.
Right, not very PC.
No,
especially after the previous episode.
Yeah, like they think Logan thinks he's so woke, but like getting kills and cuffed and like that's like yeah. That's why everybody doesn't give him the benefit of the doubt when he says things like that, because he's obviously not completely woke.
Right. In his defense, he did say that he liked being cuffed.
That's true. But I was just saying, in general, the language around relationships being like a trap and having sex with a girl as a kill is like very dehumanizing.
Right. I mean, calling it a kill is
it's treating it like a game. It's like a video game.
This is exactly what I was about to say. It's like fucking playing Halo. What's your kill count?
Yeah.
So I've never heard that, but yeah.
They say that Logan's publicist said they can't have porn stars on the show anymore. During this episode, he said that if he wants to have bigger stars, then he needs to higher the bar and have no porn stars on in the future. And I think that's fucked up in general. We were talking about this before.
I do too. I mean, like why shouldn't you? Like that's an area that has. I mean, I'm sure it's been explored, but like that's an interesting area that people like want to hear. Like I think it's interesting to hear like that. Like from like that world.
Yeah, in general,
I do get where the publicist is coming from as like a media professional or whatever the fuck you want to call them, but like I don't think that an actor, like a big actor, for example, would be like turned off by the fact that you had a fucking porn star on your show. Like what?
Yeah.
Everybody watches porn, even that fucking actor does. So.
Yeah, I would say Logan, fire your publicist and hire us.
Yeah, I mean that just goes back to what his demographic is, I think, and he wants his demographic to be included with a porn actor.
Yeah.
Or adult film actor. So they need to get their shit sorted out. Because he wants his demographic to be his age.
Yeah.
But he gets all the scrutiny because his demographic is younger just because of his past and because YouTube is mainly younger kids in general. That's just the audience of YouTube. But yeah, I just think he should not listen to his publicist, especially because a lot of the stuff that he wants to talk about, like sexuality,
is wrapped up in that, and porn stars are some of the best people to talk about that stuff openly and without shame.
Right.
I just think I understand where Follows is coming from, like you said, but like just fuck that.
Right.
Be a maverick and don't listen to her.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, for this episode, I want to point out how fucking psyched Mike was the whole fucking episode. He loves the Nelk boys.
Yeah, I think Mike was really good. I liked Mike better on this episode than Logan.
Well, Logan didn't say much. This was more so because Mike was more familiar with the Nelk boys and their content, and he was talking about how they like went out a couple of nights, so I think they kind of bonded just because they went out and like drank and had a good time. And I don't think Logan really does much of that. So
yeah. This is the first episode where I was like, you know what, Mike is better than Logan.
Yeah. I don't
then
know
that changed.
That, but he seemed more engaged. But like overall, I don't know. Logan seemed tired.
And Mike, he there's like a little snippy line that like when Mike was like, "Oh, can you pull up this clip?" and then Logan was like, "I didn't have that one planned. It's not on the schedule." And then Mike was like, "That's why there's more than one person on this podcast."
Oh, I did hear that.
Yeah, so there's like a little bit of there's some tension building in the background still between Mike, Logan, and then Spencer's kind of on the sidelines just making awkward faces like, okay.
Yeah, Spencer doesn't want to like challenge Logan in any way, really. He's kind of just there.
I was happy to see Evan on this episode.
Yeah, but he
instead
didn't
of
say much at all.
Spencer.
He didn't say much of anything either. But yeah, I mean, for one thing, I mean, I understand that he was like, Mike wanted to play another clip from them, but I don't know if Logan was just like, okay, yeah, that's fine, but like this is a podcast and it's primarily audio, so like you're kind of neglecting your audio listeners a little bit when you're just watching a video.
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
When you've already watched a few.
But so at the same time, when I don't know who these people are, it does help me I don't want to do my own homework and like watch all the Nelk Boy videos.
Yeah.
It's nice that they show a couple. But yeah, it is weird because they want to be both popular on audio and video, and that compromises. Sometimes it sucks for either medium.
Yeah. Especially for the next episode, which was like this Julius.
Yeah. But before we get to that, we were going to do a show in our segment, a reoccurring segment we call the Views Teeny Weeny Podcast, where we talk about David Dobrik and Jason Nash's very popular podcast, Views. And here we go. Views Teeny Weeny. Podcast. Views. Welcome to the podcast, Weenies, where we talk about the Views podcast this week. How'd you feel about it? Do you have anything notable you wanted to say about the podcast this week?
Just the fucking fact that Jason fucking has a big old dick now.
Yeah, that's exactly what. And I'm sorry, I meant to Google what process he was doing. Like he's getting his penis enlarged, and I saw a video of what it looked like and sounded like, it was like this weird like machine that just kind of made like a shocking noise, like electricity sort of noise on his wiener.
You'll have to check out David's latest vlog because he goes in the room with him while he's getting his dick shocked.
But I still don't know. I'd love to know the name of this process and what the science behind the penis enlargement is, because like penis enlargement is infamously snake oil. Like it doesn't work. You can't get your penis that much bigger. It can only really be like penis pumps and stuff. It's a real temporary growth. At least that's what I've heard. And he claims that this, whatever process he's done and paid $3,000 for, is working really well and has significantly grown his penis.
I'm trying to look at what it's fucking called.
I just want to know what it is. It sounds like it sounds pretty high, like scientific, like have you ever seen anybody do stuff for their skin where they get their skin zapped by like a weird machine and their skin comes out looking like it's fried bacon for a day or two? Sounded like one of those machines.
I don't know. I'm trying to fucking look at it. I don't know. But it's really funny. His vlog was actually pretty funny. Like him doing it. But yeah, he said his penis is like way bigger. He said it's bigger when it's flaccid, but he has to pump his penis 3 times a day or something.
Yeah.
To keep it to make sure you get your money's worth.
If you had like a lot of disposable income, would you do this?
I would have to look at the
risks.
Risks, yeah, because like I don't necessarily want to make my penis bigger, but like I would like to see what it looked like.
Me too. I mean, I'm curious.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if it, but that said, I'm not trying to freaking be pumping my penis like 3 times a day. Like, you know, like, wake up, eat breakfast, pump your penis. You know, take out the fucking trash. No, I don't need another task. You know?
All right, that's a good way to end the View CME podcast. So yeah, moving on to Friday's app was The Magician, and the first thing I want to say about the magician named the Julius Dean. Is that you? Yeah. Did you notice that the video isn't on Logan's page?
What?
Well, like I went to watch the video this morning. I got the notification yesterday that he posted a new episode, and then I went to watch it today. And if you go to Logan's page, the video is hidden. It's almost like it's unlisted. I'm not sure if it actually is unlisted, but you can't find it unless you go to a direct link to it.
That's weird. I mean, I watched it last night, and it was
on maybe that was before it got categorized. Yeah, maybe I don't know how you got to it, but it's hidden now, and maybe
it was on my homepage because I mean I follow the podcast.
I went to Logan's Twitter to see what was going on. I thought he removed the video because I couldn't get to it, and I ended up just having to like copy the link and paste it in order to get to the video. It's age restricted, and that's one of the reasons why I couldn't get to it. I think that I didn't know that. You know?
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out what the thing in this video, what was the most like sexy thing in this video that could have gotten it age restricted that hard. And I think it might have been that foam penis joke at the end.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? There's a part where the magician made a foam penis appear in Logan's hand. And it was a little bit of a goof at the end of the episode, and it was a big fake red goofy penis. Like it wasn't realistic or anything, but I think that's what it was.
I'm on his page on the videos tab, and it's not there.
Yeah, it's hidden, and he doesn't mention it. And the other people in the comments underneath his Twitter post for the episode were saying the same thing. Like, wow, like YouTube's actually hiding Logan's videos now. Maybe he had to. Can you go to the link and see if it says unlisted, or can you not actually get to it anymore because you can't find it?
No, I mean I could still find it, and whenever I search like Impaulsive on YouTube search, it is the first one.
I couldn't even find that on YouTube search
page. For some reason, it's
it's not there.
Yeah, I don't know how you know if it was like hidden or whatever, but
well, if you go to the actual video, sometimes underneath it has like a little like symbol that says public or unlisted. I don't think it's unlisted. I don't know. I think it's like categorized. I think it's just age restricted and categorized in some way.
Age restricted video.
Yeah, so it's disappeared. It's weird. So yeah, that's a weird thing. I think it was the penis. I think it was, and it wasn't. It was a big cartoon red foam penis, like
pretty harmless.
Yeah, every guy's got one.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Whether YouTube. Or not they have a foreskin is, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
It was a
It was
I don't.
circumcised.
It
Seemed
was.
pretty circumcised to me.
It did. It did.
It seemed brutally circumcised.
So, this guy. I mean, how did you feel about Julius Dean? I thought
He's a magician,
he's a fine
like
British man.
Yeah, he seemed cool. I mean, he's pretty good at magic. I don't know, like really, it's interesting guy. Kind of just one of the biggest social media magicians, probably, if not the.
Mm-hmm. Thinking he seemed generally annoyed with the whole Impaulsive gang. Like he was kind of not happy to be there and sort of tolerating it. Would you agree with
thought
that?
that?
You didn't think so?
Nah, I don't. I don't think so.
Really? I felt like because like sometimes they would just bicker. They were starting to bicker about like things amongst themselves, like Mike, Spencer, and Logan, and he would just be on the sidelines like, okay.
I guess I didn't pick up on
You didn't
that.
feel that? Well, maybe I was projecting. I don't know. I thought that I think it's interesting. He said that a lot of the ways he got popular was through growth hacks and SEO tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to just mention that there is an interesting parallel between like manipulating people on a one-to-one basis, like with close-up magic, and manipulating people online to click something. And I think I would love to know if he has any like custom SEO or analytic tricks that he's employing that he would say have some similarities to the way that he misdirects and manipulates people with his magic.
Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't think about that.
A lot of I think there's this guy who used to work for Google or something that used to be a magician, and then he went into Google and he said he actually did employ a lot of the same thinking.
Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this guy.
Yeah, I didn't write that much.
Yeah, I think I do remember seeing him from that Drake video. I think that's maybe the only time I've ever seen him.
Do you think? I think the one thing that was interesting is they kept asking about David Blaine. They just kept bringing up David Blaine.
Yeah.
He kind of was getting annoyed with that. It seemed like why you keep talking about David Blaine, and he kept saying like, well, those guys have this whole thing where they're trying to present themselves as actually having superpowers, and there's a big distinction between those kind of magicians like David Blaine and Chris Angel, and me, who I'm just like having fun and goofing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. Those guys, they really do. They want you to think they have superpowers.
I mean, yeah, I've seen David Blaine do some crazy ass shit. I mean, I think that he was just kind of maybe a little bit annoyed by the fact that he was like, this is like, we're doing a different thing. And it's like, I understand that we're in the same family, but we're not the same. And yeah, I'm sure he gets that kind of question all the time, though.
Mm-hmm.
So.
One other thing I felt was interesting, and I just remembered that I forgot that we're not allowed to say interesting anymore because we say it too much on this show. So I'll try not to say it anymore. The thing about how he's posting when his magic tricks fail, he'll still post the video.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said that those fail videos reveal how the trick is made sometimes, and that the magic community is getting mad at him about that.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of is, yeah, I mean, that's just like, so people are going to see a trick and be like, oh, I know you did that. And then like,
yeah,
I'm not.
I don't know how I feel about it, but I don't know how I feel about it. If I were a magician, I guess I'd be mad, but I don't know. You know, sometimes you got to show yourself failing.
Yeah.
Going back to the first episode, Spencer was talking about how he said that he's like, I'm really into education and learning. And he said that some of the students and teachers are saying that kids are afraid to make mistakes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know how true that isn't how you measure that, but he's saying that the canceled culture is leading to kids taking less risks.
Yeah.
which is, I don't want to say interesting, but
it's a
which I wonder if it's true.
It definitely is a curious thing.
The only other thing is there's a part where Logan was like, he started crying whenever Julius was looking into his eyes trying to read the time. He said, pick a time of day. And then he made Spencer's watch just automatically go to that time. He said whenever Julius was looking into his eyes and pulling out the information that he said, when you looked at me, I felt you penetrating me. And he was crying a little bit. Well, how do you think he actually does it? Like, how would you look into Logan's eye? Like, because it's not I've had some magic tricks done to me before where like I privately think of like, a card, like 2 of hearts or whatever, and they do something where it's like, how would you come into my brain and know and like put that there? Like, sure, you could set up that card to be somewhere, but how would you know in advance to put that card there? How does that actually, how do they read my mind?
I have absolutely no fucking clue. I really, really don't. That is, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I have that is why that seems like real magic to me.
Mm-hmm. They would say it's like reading people, right? Like, isn't that how they would say? Like, you just like whenever they showed the clip with Post Malone, and he was like going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he said, "Oh, I saw your like eyes like move a little bit when you said 5," and then like hearts, diamonds, clubs. Oh, clubs, and he's basically like looking at super micro expressions that give away things. But like, how would you look at a micro expression that tells you 1234?
Right, and a 4-digit sequence. That's no clue. Very impressive.
Oh yeah, the only other thing is they were talking about Donald Trump at the beginning. Whenever after he said pick a public figure, and then he shaped a lollipop into Donald Trump's head with his mouth.
Right.
They started talking about politics right at the beginning.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about Donald Trump? And he's like, I don't. He's a very controversial figure.
Yeah, and he's like, I think he's gonna get reelected.
And then they started talking about it a little bit, and then they did a crossfade cut, which they obviously cut some shit out. And so, yeah.
I just heard him say like, all right, that's enough about that. Like,
yeah, I don't know if it was just awkward for a second or if they actually talked about stuff and he was like, you know what, don't even put that anywhere. So my suspicion is that Julius Dean is a full-blown Trump supporter and also worked with
from the UK. Like, why would he? Like, why?
Well, I think he also worked with the Brexit campaign to get them out. I think that his magic skills.
Events at the Brexit campaign.
I think his magic skills help them manipulate people on a mass scale, and he's probably one of the big orchestrators of Brexit. But this is my conspiracy theory.
I want to say interesting, but well, very curious. Very curious.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Makes me ponder.
Yeah. I don't know. I think overall pretty interesting, if you will. Yeah, good couple eps.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if you have anything that you want to wrap up.
Nah, just the running tension on the show, I would say, is building, and Logan's getting more since the backlash from the gay remark. Logan seems on edge and just not natural anymore.
Yeah,
or as much.
He seemed very much like he's like waiting for the show to be over.
Yeah.
And he's like, he was just kind of, he was listening a lot more than he normally does. And Mike was just talking a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Mike is just Mike's not getting as much of the negative feedback, so he's kind of just like, I'm just gonna keep doing like what I've been doing and maybe be a little bit more careful. But like, yeah, I think Logan's probably like overthinking everything that he's gonna say.
100%.
So he's just like, yeah, he's fucking scared.
Yeah, Logan. I think his thing about like attack me and I will make it better. I think that's cool. You know, if he is really willing to, I don't know. Would you say in general that the public is now more educated on this exact topic because he made the mistake and then made the effort to talk about why it was wrong, etc.? Like, would you say in general there's a net positive from his initial mistake and then attempt at righting his wrong, or no?
I do, because I think just his audience is the same people that were. I mean, his audience is still kids, so like, it's showing that he made a mistake and he's getting an explanation as to why. So I think there is a positive, but there could have been a little bit of a heavier positive if you would have dealt with it a little bit more maturely.
Yeah. In general, I think the idea of making mistakes and then learning from them is something that is much more educational than never making a mistake.
Right.
So, but again, going back to like how can he make a mistake and then actually get feedback that he will hear and then address? I don't know how that feedback is ever going to be nice and then still get a reaction from him. So that's like a conundrum with his whole idea of I want to make mistakes so that the world can progress.
Yeah.
That's just the whole problem with that plan. And even though in general I think it's conceptually a good idea for learning in general, teaching people through mistakes, even if they're their own.
I think anyone would agree with that. I think even Spencer would agree with that, who's pretty big into education.
So I guess I'd say, Log, chill out, stop second guessing yourself, but I guess, yeah, just try not to take it so personally when people blow up at your mistakes. Try to see it as an opportunity to progress the world, like you said. It's hard to not take criticism personally, trust me.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
I would be pretty, I think I would have been pretty fired at myself.
And people want to hurt you. People are saying really mean things. It's not like they're not tempering their criticisms at all. So yeah, if he's serious about it, it's, yeah, just take a deep breath and do some meditation with Spencer and try to do it with more grace, a little bit more.
On that note,
the PCast is over. This is one of our longest ones. We're almost hitting about an hour. If you stuck around for the cast, I'd like to thank you. If you want to just listen to the show, we're on iTunes and all that. But
if you guys want to stick around for the audio only portion of the
then you'll be sad to learn that there isn't one.
So, there's a spider. You ever hear where they do that? They were doing like the same transition into like their break from like video to audio, and they made like the same joke like if a couple of times, like, there's a spider or something. Like, I don't even know what the fuck. Guys, let me know if you understood that reference.
So yeah, thanks for listening. If you want to see more of us, we have our other podcast. I'm on a podcast called That's All Folks, that we do a show called SEO Show. Zach has his podcast, Zach Show Live, which you can find us on. Anything else where they can find us?
Wherever you want.
I'm thinking about editing that Trashcast episode. from many months ago. So
like a year ago.
I know. I'm trying to think of like what the right joke is to come back and still show it. That's like what's really holding me up is like, how can I show this still? Anyway.
I don't even remember. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Take it easy, fam. Peace.
Bum, bam, bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.